Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. What we're doing today is finally getting back on track because it's probably been a week and a half, maybe a fortnight since we've done an investment video on a main set. We're going through the whole Sword and Shield era, and today we're looking at Brilliant Stars. So quick question for everyone first, and please leave your comment down below. What do you think is going to be the better single investment? The Charizard V Alt Art from Brilliant Stars or the Lugia V Alt Art from Silver Tempest? Please leave me a comment below. Pretty similar, almost styled cards in my opinion, and also pretty similar sort of price point at the moment. So please leave a comment below. What do you think will be the better single investment out of those two? So in case you haven't seen one of these before, what we do is we give each main set plus subset or holiday set out of Sword and Shield a score out of 15. There's 3 categories we base off. Each gets a score out of 5, giving a total score out of 15. The first category that we look at is the print run or the supply and demand for the set. The second category we look at is the hits inside the set, so the big hits and sort of the number of hits above that $5, $10 mark. And the third thing we look at is the fun factor. So how fun is it going to be to open in the future, and how fun is it to look at sort of as a display piece for a sealed collection. And again, that gives us a score out of 15. The higher the score, the more investable the set as a sealed product. In case everyone's wondering, down here in Australia, it's not. This is for the US. Any US people that watch, give me a thumbs up if you do. It's not always hot down here in Australia. It is freezing today. I think it got to a maximum of maybe 6 degrees. That's Celsius though. I don't know what that equates to Fahrenheit. And it was about -3 degrees Celsius this morning. So absolutely freezing down here in Australia at the moment. Not always beaches, deserts, sunshine. So any US viewers, that's why we're wearing the almost like a snow jacket today. Anyway, moving back onto Brilliant Stars, and I don't want to feel I'm rubbishing this set, but it was touted obviously not long after Evolving Skies and Celebrations. Brilliant Stars hit the market, and it was sort of touted as going to be the second best set of Sword and Shield. And my initial sort of, I suppose, position on this scoring system is I don't really know if it is the second best set throughout Sword and Shield, but let's explore it. So first criteria we'll jump into is, of course, the print run or supply demand on the set. So I just wanted to bring up on the screen here, this is the current PSA population of Brilliant Stars, and what's it sitting at? 76,000 graded cards through PSA, 44,000 of which have graded a 10. That is a big PSA 10 population from Brilliant Stars. Also, credit to the Pokemon company, brilliant, obviously, printing quality. Obviously, a lot of people send them fresh out of the pack these days compared to in the past when they've been sitting in binders and whatnot for a long period of time, but still, brilliant print quality. The amount of cards they're printing, hats off to them, but 76,000 already, and this isn't an old set yet. Also, while we're talking print run, obviously there's a little bit of a correlation between PSA Pop Report and the print run. It could also mean there's heaps of cards that inside there that got graded. It does also have the trainer gallery, which boosts the amount of cards that get graded because people do like to grade those trainer gallery cards. So I think there's a small correlation there, but I just wanted to show you on the screen here as well, current booster box price. And also you'll notice it's taken a pretty drastic dip around April. It did get a small reprint of Elite Trainer boxes and booster boxes around April this year, and that's sort of its, I guess, third wave. So you could argue this set has been pretty heavily printed. I also wanted to make note that all throughout this, since this set's launch, it's always been available right here on PokemonCenter.com at pretty much a retail price. So it's really strange, especially looking at TCG Player, that this box has risen in price and then dipped in price. More difficult for us here down in Australia because, obviously Pokemon Center is a bit harder to purchase off. Sometimes we've got to pay, what our own market suggests it should be worth. But interesting that even throughout, boxes going up in Australia here, sometimes you couldn't purchase sometimes for under $350. That's how quickly it rose. It almost did an Evolving Skies after launch. But yeah, interesting enough, there you go. On PokemonCenter.com, still at retail price. It does say a maximum of six can be purchased, so you can't buy out the whole thing and then all of a sudden, I guess, hold the market and sell them for $200 a box. But yeah, maximum 6, still on sale at PokemonCenter.com. So in terms of a score, with those things in mind, that it's a pretty heavily printed set. Now, that doesn't always mean that it's going to not go up in value or get a low score, because demand comes into it as well. Obviously, big supply, but if demand's still outweighing big supply, then it's still going to score well. It's sort of hard. I don't know whether there's a bit of a hangover post Evolving Skies and celebrations. It was like Pokemon was releasing sets super rapidly. There was a lot of sets sort of launched in 2021, and I don't know. Brilliant Stars sort of, like I was saying, I don't know whether it was a bit of a hangover and it just sort of got stuck on the shelves. People were, I suppose, excited initially about it, especially with that trainer gallery. When's it been since Cosmic Eclipse, since we've seen a trainer gallery? There's still alt arts in it, so it does have a lot going for it, which I'll mention soon in the next segment. But in terms of a score, I don't think there's not a great deal of demand for it right now, and there's still supply in the market. So, that demand hasn't eaten up the supply like it did on Evolving Skies, and therefore the price hasn't quite risen as much as we'd thought. In terms of score, though, for me, probably a 3.5 out of 5. Criteria 2, the hits, the next score out of 5. I wanted to sort of show you an interesting stat up here on the screen. Now, this number here, 31, believe it or not, is the number of cards in this set that currently sit above $5. And if anyone watched the Chilling Reign video I did just recently versus Evolving Skies, you'll find there's 57 cards in Chilling Reign currently above $5. So it's interesting that it's not far off half, or Chilling Reign isn't far off double the number of, I suppose, small hits. There are a couple of heavy hits in this set, but they're not as heavy as what you think. I mean, I'll bring them up now. There's the Charizard V, which is sitting at about $137. And as you can see, coinciding with that reprint around April, it has taken a little bit of a dip. The second biggest hit from the set is of course, the Charizard V-Star. So pretty heavy Charizard-driven set. And what's it sitting at now? $61. And same thing, sort of a gentle decline. And again, in April with that reprint, the third biggest main hit from the set is the Arceus V, currently sitting at $31. And then, of course, we'll jump on board. I'll show a couple on the screen here. The Trainer Gallery is something. Without the Trainer Gallery, I really think this set would struggle. It's almost like another Champion's Path where it just relies on 2 Charizards to hold the set up. So without this Trainer Gallery, I don't think this set would rate that highly. But with it, I think it really boosts it. And if we look back to Cosmic Eclipse, a lot of people like to get that full PSA 10 set of the Trainer Gallery, or people like to have the full set of the Trainer Gallery. And you've got things like the Umbreon and the Sylveon, VMAX and V, which really add to, I suppose, the performance of the Trainer Gallery. With all those things in mind and breaking it down, that $5 said that, so 21 of those come from the main set and 10 of those come from the Trainer Gallery. So 31 cards above $5. A few strong hits from the Trainer Gallery, and also sort of 3 big hits from the main set. In terms of a score, same thing. I think I'm going to have to give it 3.5 out of 5. It's a pretty good set when it comes to hits, and the Trainer Gallery helps. If it didn't have that Trainer Gallery, I'd be down somewhere 2.5, possibly maybe a 3 still, but definitely a 2.5 if it relied just on those 2 Charizards. But Trainer Gallery thrown in there, I think again it deserves a 3.5. Criteria 3, the fun factor. The fun factor to rip open in the future and the fun factor to keep sealed. Other than, and this is just my opinion, but other than Fusion Strike, I don't think there's a nicer looking box, Elite Trainer box and booster box from the Sword and Shield era. Especially that Elite Trainer box. Beautiful, beautiful look, like just nice and simple, a bit of gold thrown in, Arceus on the cover, really nice looking Elite Trainer box. Simple yet geez, I'm sounding like some sort of interior designer here. Simple yet stylish. It's a nice looking Elite Trainer box. And the booster box also, I think, is a nice looking box. So really great for the collection. Still sitting at pretty decent prices, especially that Elite Trainer box. You can pick them up pretty reasonably for your collection, for your sealed display. And the fun factor to rip open in the future, and I think this is proven with sets like Cosmic Eclipse, that it is like it adds to the number of hits that you're going to pull in the future. Like I think it's going to be a fun set for people to open in the future. You've got the big chase of the Charizard V Alt Art. So the only main set Charizard alternate artwork so far, other than what's coming, I guess, in Scarlet and Violet, but the only Sword and Shield main pull of a Charizard alternate art card, forgetting about the premium collection where you got them as promos. So that's going to be big. The Rainbow Charizard's also big. And then you've got all those fun sort of trainer gallery cards, which really adds to the hits. You've got the 3 basic evolutions like the Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon, which seem to be pretty easy pulls. And then you've got some of the higher tier trainer galleries, which are a bit harder to pull. But like, I think it's going to be a fun set. You seem, 36 packs, you seem to be getting anywhere from, 10 to 15 hits out of a booster box now, which is going to make it, I think it's going to make it pretty damn fun to open in the future. And like I was saying, it's also a fun display piece. So for me, it scores I think it's a 4 out of 5. Any of these later Sword and Shield sets with trainer galleries, they're 4 out of 5 for me when it comes to fun factor. Because it's sort of multi-layered. You can get those trainer galleries to get your pull rate up, but you've still got that hunt for that big sort of alternate art card. The only thing I wish it had, which would make it a little bit more fun, and also going back to the previous point, criteria 2 with the hits, it probably could do with maybe just a couple more alt arts. Like it doesn't have many. I think there's the Charizard, the Arceus, the Luminon or Luminol, whatever it's called. So it could do with a couple more of those. But for me, criteria 3, it's a 4 out of 5. So the big question, should we invest in it? So total score, if we add them up, 3.5, 3.5, 4 is obviously 11 out of 15. And I think 11 out of 15 is pretty fair. It's not this S-tier set like Evolving Skies, and I don't even think it's quite the second best set out of the Sword and Shield era, but it's not bad at all. Like some people rubbish it a little bit more than what it maybe deserves. I think 11 out of 15 is a pretty fair score when it comes to investability. Now, in terms of what we should do with it, should we park some money there? I think my first point on that is if you are going to park some money there, now is the time to do it. After that third sort of print run in April, I would be incredibly, incredibly surprised if it got a 4th wave, even a small one. If there's anything that's going to pop up now from the future once this 3rd wave's bought out, it's going to be leftover stock. Like it's going to be, put into ancillary products like tins or boxes, and it's just going to be leftover stuff to move. Like Cosmic Eclipse has had in a few scenarios where there's been leftover stock, not enough obviously to create more print runs, of course, but enough to go in some ancillary products to move some leftover stock. So I think that's like, I cannot see Brilliant Stars copying another print wave. The demand for it's not there. It wouldn't make a heap of financial or business sense from Pokemon company to do that. So I think printing's done. And my first point is definitely, if you're going to invest in it or put money into it, now's probably the time. I can't see it getting any cheaper than what it is now, particularly because you can still buy it at pretty much a retail price off Pokemon Center. The Elite Trainer boxes are still really well priced. So what's it going to do in the future though, as a prediction? Personally, I think the supply needs a bit of time to be metabolized by the demand. As in, I think it's just going to take a little bit of time before it starts being eaten up and opened and bought out. So prediction is, I think it's going to remain pretty stagnant for maybe at least the next 12 months, particularly after this 3rd print run. And maybe in about 12 months' time, I think we'll start seeing it moving north. So I guess don't be alarmed if you don't buy it right now. Like, yeah, it's probably at the lowest it's going to be for a little while, but don't be alarmed if you don't get it right now. I think if you get it in 6 months' time or 9 months' time, you're still going to be pretty right. If you hold off for 18 months or 2 years, I think you might have missed a little bit of an opportunity, because I think it will start to rise in 18 months. Should we park heaps of money into it? Well, there's a couple of options there. Option one is great display piece. If you want to get into it for your collection, these elite trainer boxes look really good and they're a great entry point. The booster box is still a pretty good price, so buy them up for your collection, possible movement as an investment. There's also the opportunity as a second factor of buying big now if you wanted to. Like if you can pick them up at that retail off Pokemon Center, pretty much obviously maximum 6, which is a case. I don't think that's a bad investment at all. Buying a case of Brilliant Stars right now is a pretty good move. It's going to go up a little bit in the next 12 plus, probably 18 months. So anyway, please, to also, as well as that Charizard versus Lugia, please let me know your score. Like, what's your score out of 15 based on the 3 criteria for Brilliant Stars? I'd love to see them below. I'd love to see, does anyone score it higher than what I do? Does everyone think I've given it a pretty fair score? Does anyone score it lower than what I do? Please give me a score out of 15 below. And thanks again for watching. Catch you next time.